Hi, good afternoon. Um, Sorry that I'm so late. Um, Today is a live on how to appear confident, and sorry, I'll just get my notes. I hope you all had a good morning. If any of you attended church service, then I hope you had a good service and you feel spiritually refreshed. Um, my partner's in the back. Patrick, un ci amo. Yeah, he can't hear us at the moment, but he'll say hi in a bit. So today I'm doing a live on how to appear confident, and this is something that is also a refresher for myself. How to appear confident. Once again, I hope you all had a great afternoon. I hope you all had a great morning and you're enjoying your afternoon. And please like the live and subscribe to my channel for more topics to discuss. So the first tip in how to appear confident is to um, look at your posture. So your posture, where possible, should be with your back straight and your shoulders back, like your chin up, and just very confident. Um, Having a good posture portrays strength and confidence. So some people, when they are communicating with others, sometimes they can be slouching, and that in itself can make you look that doesn't make you look very confident if you're slouching. So it's good to have a good posture with your shoulders back, your chin up, and good eye contact. So that's the first tip in appearing confident. Second, the second tip is to have eye contact with people, which is what I think my partner is doing with you all now. Now, un chiamo.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, so
Thank you for supporting my wife. Be relevant to her channel. Keep
Okay.
subscribing.
Okay,
Keep
okay.
supporting
All
her.
right, okay,
We
thank
really
you. Thank
appreciate for
you.
your hard working.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here to watch our life.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you to
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So, greetings from my partner and from myself. Please like the live. So, how to appear confident. So, the first tip, as I just said, is your posture. So, have your shoulders back, have your chin up, and look straight ahead, eye contact. That can be a good indication of confidence. So, your posture is really important. Good eye contact. We understand in some cultures, um, making eye contact can be a sign of disrespect. Sometimes people might be from a culture where, sorry, he's not laughing at what I'm saying. He's watching something. He's not laughing at what I'm saying. He is laughing at whatever it is he's watching. Okay, as I said, in some cultures, not making eye contact can be a sign of humility, can be a sign of good manners. Harika Cruz Nawaz. Sorry, Rio. Hi, Rio Cruz Nawaz. I hope you're well. Hope you had a good morning today. So, eye contact can be an issue, but it is important to make eye contact because in Western cultures, it's a sign of honesty. Jack Clark. Sorry, that isn't my topic for today, but I'm pretty happy in England at the moment. I'm around good people. We're doing good things, and we're hopeful for the future. Obviously, there's a lot of negativity in the news, but that's what gets views, that's what sells, and that is not the norm. Thank you. Smiling can be a way to make you feel. Oh, thank you, Rio. That's really nice. Rio Cruz Noaz. I am having a good day. I went to service this morning. Thank you for your love. Love back to you. I have some plans for future, definitely. In the coming months, we do have some plans like giveaways and stuff and events and everything. So I have some really good plans for the people on on the live. Thank you, Jack Clark. Probably another time we can go through that topic. But there is a lot of positivity in England. There are lots of good things happening, and there are lots of good people, and we're looking forward to a great future in England. So it's not as negative as how it may appear, and there are lots of good plans to do good things. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a good afternoon as well. Thank you. One moment, guys. God bless you too. Thank you so much. I really appreciate those warm words, those kind words. So what I can say is by smiling. Hi, Isabel Gamer underscore Gamer. Yeah, so as I was saying, smiling can be a sign of confidence. Smiling can be a way to make people feel at ease. Smiling can be a way to make yourself come across as approachable. A genuine smile, you know, sometimes we've all done like the fake smiles, but a genuine smile can go a long way to make you appear confident. And if anybody has any questions, or if anybody would like to give some tips, feel free to put it in the chat and I'll answer. But the topic for today is how to appear confident regardless of how you feel. So you may actually feel really anxious, but you can definitely portray a confident demeanor. Um, okay, the next tip is to have some calm movements. Try not to fidget. When people become anxious, sometimes they might chew their nails, they might be tapping their leg, or they just might be moving around in a way that makes them look really, really nervous. So another tip is try to stay still, or if you are going to move, make it be intentional. How do you appear confident when you're doing tests? Do you mean written tests? When I've had exams, what helps me is when I acknowledge how nervous I am. Yeah, written tests. Ooh, yeah. We had these exams ages ago, and in order to pass to the next level, you have to get 100%. And I failed a couple of times, but I did have a few opportunities where I was able to pass. I was really nervous, and I actually used to say to people, I'm really nervous. Like, I would actually voice it. So by saying, oh, I feel really nervous, I found that helped. Also, as well, I just had to be around a certain type of energy. So if I was around friends that were trying to do last minute revision outside the hall, I couldn't be around that. So if people were doing last minute revision, or if people were like testing each other at the last minute, I can't be around that because that makes me more nervous. So I would say have like a ritual before the test. So so what is the ritual before the test? Like what do you find helpful and what do you find non-helpful? I think the people around you is really important. Some people find listening to music, but I would say be nervous and lean into it. I would say just lean into it. Just absolutely lean into it. Like, oh my gosh, I'm really nervous. And so if you feel like you want to be by yourself a few moments before the exam, do that. But just have a ritual so you could find some comfort in that. I only know one of my scores, which was, that's really good. So did you pass? Because that's really good. 28 out of 30. That's very, yeah, well done. Very good. And you passed on a high scale, so well done. I think, no, good for you. I think sometimes as well, we have to ask ourselves, do the nerves help us? So does the tension actually help us pass? Yeah, I think sometimes we have to ask ourselves, do the nerves help? Because sometimes the nerves can create some adrenaline. So sometimes maybe the nerves triggers some motivation. So perhaps being nervous isn't a bad thing. But well done, Isabel underscore gamer. That's very good. 20 out of 30. That's very, very good. Well done. Um, do you know what you got wrong? Were you able to reflect on what you did get wrong? That's really good. Okay, so the next tip is when you're nervous, some people bite their nails, some people might tap their legs. Um, try not try not to draw attention to your nerves. So if you feel nervous and you go around tapping your leg or you go around tapping your hand, that might draw attention to how nervous you are. So you can either try and keep still, or you can change the movements to look more positive, and so you can do more definite movements, you can do more purposeful movements. So instead of biting your nails, perhaps you can emphasize each point just by your hands, um, or you can try and keep still. It's a bit tricky because for some people it's a habit they don't even realise, but sometimes fidgeting and hand movements can make you look a bit nervous. Um, as long as it isn't anything like picking your nose, it should be fine. You know, if you can't help moving your hands around, don't worry, but try not to bite your nails or do anything like that. Um, your voice. So, your voice is to try and appear confident, try and slow down your speaking, even though it's really difficult. Sometimes you feel like you want to say things as fast as possible so the experience is over with, but just try and slow everything right down. But I understand that goes against what you want to do, which is to rush it. Um, try and slow down your speaking. Um, speak speak clearly. Okay, so some people when they get nervous, they start to mumble, um, which isn't helpful, and that goes hand in hand with your posture. So if you have a posture where your back is straight and your chin is up and you're making eye contact, you should be speaking clearly. Also, some people in my class said on one of the questions they started like tapping under the table because one of the questions were if John goes on a walk and the cat walks past, how hot is the sun? It can't be that hot if John's gone for a walk. Yeah, I think, but isn't, but doesn't the sun always stay at the same temperature? Doesn't the sun always stay at the same temperature, and depending on our positioning and clouds and everything else, we have our weather. I think the sun always stays at the same temperature, you know. I think the sun always stays at the same temperature, babes. I think it's our positioning. Um, so if you're south of the equator, is it south of the equator, north of the equator? I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'll probably just get that question wrong and say that the sun always stays at the same temperature. Yeah, that's a trick question. Yeah, I hate those questions. I think sometimes the questions just they throw in they throw distractions. So so they throw in distractions, and Yeah, they're basically trick questions, but that's quite hard. Or is that why they were tapping under the table? Yeah, I mean, I would tap on top of the table. Forget underneath. I'll probably start tapping up. But yeah, and the tension in the exam hall gets really really. Do you remember any of the other questions? But yeah, that's really difficult. And so you had a test. Okay, Isabel underscore gamer, you had a test with these types of questions and you got 28 out of 30. You're a genius. Verified. Okay, so the next yeah, so be comfortable. You're welcome. Honestly, someone needs to say it because 28 out of 30 is those types of questions. Okay, probably a member of Mensa or something. Okay, so when you're feeling nervous, another way to appear confident is to be comfortable in the way you're dressed. So if your clothes are too tight or too big, or if you're uncomfortable in your clothing, that can also add to not feeling confident. So as much as you can, try and be comfortable in what you're wearing. So for example, if your shoes are too tight, that's not going to help your confidence. Um, Also, another way to appear confident is to not be phased by your mistakes. Just don't let your mistakes phase you. I mean, obviously, depending on how intense. Oh, but it's nothing. Yeah. So, yeah, don't be phased by mistakes. I mean, there's some mistakes that are just so embarrassing. There's some mistakes you don't want to make. Yeah. But I find sometimes when I admit some of my mistakes, other people are like, "Oh, so did I," or other people be like, "Me too." So, what can be quite isolating when you make a mistake is you might think you're the only person that got it wrong, but actually, no. I remember when I was doing my exam, I was doing this like maths type of exams, and you had to get 100% to pass to the next level, and I think I failed it twice, and I'd get like 99%, 98%. Yeah, I know, and I'm not a maths babe. Like I am not a maths babe, and so I was getting like 99. I was getting 98, and I remember thinking to myself, because I used to do it back to back. Oh, right. So I used to do them back to back, and I still wasn't getting 100%. So I said to myself, give yourself a break, because I was starting to panic about not getting 100%. So I just said, give myself a break. I slowed everything right down, and then I had another resit in a couple of weeks instead of so quickly. And um, up to today, I don't know how I got 100%. I think maybe because I stopped panicking. I don't know. And when I used to be in my own personal study time, I used to get 100%. But when I'd actually sit the exam, I'd get one wrong or two wrong. So I knew that I was capable. I knew that I could do it. And unfortunately, this is really bad, and it's not a good thing for me to say. But no, oh no, this wasn't school. This wasn't school. It sounds really bad. I know it's controversial, possibly, but sometimes it's like a memory test. Sometimes, sometimes you're not even learning, which is bad. But sometimes it's actually a memory test. So I feel like mentally, I feel like I started taking screenshots. I think in my mind, I just started taking screenshots, and um, each time I got a question wrong, I screenshotted the correct answer in my mind. So it was a bit, I don't know, it was a bit disappointing because I feel like in the end, because I needed to get 100%, I wasn't really learning. I wasn't really learning in order to pass. I feel like it just became a memory test, and I was just remembering everything in my mind so I could pass. And then as soon as I got 100%, I just forgot everything. So yeah, sometimes it just becomes a memory test, which is really unfortunate. But we're definitely all capable. Who's all over the place? Kush Nibu. Okay. Thank you very much for the feedback. I appreciate that and I'll take that on board. Please like the live or subscribe to my channel. Okay. So the next tip I would give is, so the last one, what I was saying, be more coherent please, I've got ADHD. I'm sorry, be more coherent. So Kush Nibu, where would you like me to start off again from? You're right, I have been all over the place. Let me know where you want me to go back from. Do you want me to refresh from the beginning? Isabel underscore gamer. When I asked my teacher for help, he says, yeah, 1 second. And that whole lesson, he didn't help me. And he says to my parents, she could ask for help more. That's really unfortunate. That's um, hmm. So does that happen? Thank you for liking the live. Isabel underscore gamer. Does that happen in every lesson, or does it happen with one particular teacher? Um, and is it in every lesson? Bumbleclot. Sorry, that's a swear word. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Um, so Isabel underscore gamer. Would you say that's more in like English type lessons or maths lessons? Like, is it in more the STEM subjects or the more creative subjects? And do you have a study partner? Like, do you have a friend in class that you that you're good friends with, or have you noticed it's in maths? Or my brother is a maths genius. Maths. If you don't mind, do you find that you're asking questions? Yeah, so Isabel underscore gamer, you need to be louder. You need to be louder, or you need to look around to other people that are struggling and get them to ask for help. Um, so let me ask you. Do you need help with like, I'm not good at maths by the way, but is it help with formulas and equations, or is it? Don't worry, Isabel, until gamer. So, do you need support with formulas and equations, or specific, you know, like what type of maths are you finding that you usually need help with? Don't worry, Isabel underscore gamer. What type of maths do you usually need help with? Is it with you know, because maths is a lot. But what type of help do you need? Do you need help with your working out, or do you yeah, what type of help do you need? Because that's quite general. That is quite general. But maths is my partner's really good at maths, so I'm just trying to find out what type of help you're asking for. Is it with the equations, with the formulas? Is your working out good, or it's Kush. It sounds like maths is easy for you, but it just depends on what you're good at. because I'm not great at maths, and I need when I do maths, I need to think of numbers as shapes. So, and that sounds so weird, but I can only think of the. You need to practice problem solving instead of rote. Sorry, what does that mean, Kush? Like, what advice? What advice is that? Need to practice problem. I think it depends on what type of maths she's asking about, isn't it? Because sometimes, as long as you've got the formula, no, that makes sense. That's how the Greeks used to do it. Oh, really? I didn't know that. That's really interesting. So, Isabel underscore gamer. What type of maths help do you look for? Because maths is quite broad. Of I mean, understanding how. Oh, okay, I got you. Um, I mean, understanding how to solve. Mm, yeah, but Kush, you sound like you're really good at maths. You sound like you're really good at maths, but for some of us, we just had to fake it till we made it. So Isabel underscore gamer, if you give us more details on what type of help you're asking for. In regards to the teacher, you need to be louder, and if you feel like you can't be, maybe go to your favourite teacher and just say exactly what you've said here. Maybe go to your favourite teacher and say that, oh, in maths you do ask for help, and the teacher says, oh, 1 sec, but they never get back to you. Or ask the loud person in class to, or ask the loud person in class to ask on your behalf. Yeah? Okay. Right, so in trying to appear confidence, so Kush Nimbu, sorry, I know that I was all over the place. Is there a specific place that you want me to start again? AR, no, I'm not a teacher. I'm just talking about how to come across confident when you don't feel confident. Okay, so being prepared helps feel confident. So if you, and I don't know what that looks like, but if you try and be as prepared as you can be, that can help you appear confident. So whatever the requirements are in regards to being prepared for situations and conversations, make sure you always prep. Also, in appearing confident, asking questions is good in order to clarify. Like if somebody is using a word that I don't understand, I'll be like, oh, sorry, what does that word mean? Kush. Oh, okay. I joined late as well, to be fair. Yeah, so asking questions is a good one. And also, as well, I find that if you're in class, and it's good when people ask questions, because when you're in class and people ask questions, it helps you it helps you remember the answer to that question, because when you try and recall the answer, you might remember the person asking the question and what the person responded. So asking questions is really good. Practice, as Kush Nimbu said, is a good one. So repetition and practice can help you feel more comfortable and confident in various situations. And to be honest, in life, practice is a thing. We do need to practice. Like I've been swimming on a regular basis, and there's definitely an improvement. But that's because I've persevered in going to swim and practicing. So 100% practicing and repetition is helpful. Yeah, yeah, Kush Nimbu. Kids are terrified of being ridiculed in front of class for asking dumb questions. That is very true. That is very true. That is very, very true. I don't know what the way around it is. So if somebody wrote a list of questions and gave it to the teacher at the end of class, would the teacher go through the questions, or is that not acceptable? But yeah, it can be intimidating, definitely. Not just as kids, as adults, it can be really intimidating to ask a question you think everybody knows the answer to. Um, the problem with not saying anything is that you can kind of get left further and further behind. So I think maybe making a list of questions and I don't know how that would go if you just gave the list to the teacher. Um, Also, as well, everybody learns at different paces. So, sometimes you just need that key information and everything just makes sense. Mm, I think maybe instead of maybe asking the question, maybe you can just clarify. Yeah, but then still you don't want people to laugh at you. It's difficult. It's really, really difficult. If you have any older siblings, sometimes you can go through their their previous assignments, or hopefully, if you do have older siblings, they may have already done the module you're doing, or depending which country you're in, they may have already gone through the part of the curriculum you're going through now, the school curriculum, um, and so hopefully they should be able to help you. But if you do have any questions, maybe you can save the questions until I go on live. You can put the questions in the chat and we can go through them together. That's what I can offer. But yeah, it can be quite intimidating to ask a question in front of everybody. And but the thing is, sometimes you feel like everyone's ahead of you, but a lot of the time some people have the same question as you, but they think they're the only one, so they don't want to say anything. So it's quite difficult. But yeah, if you guys just write your questions that you like to raise, hand it to your teacher at the end of the class, or approach your older sibling and ask if they've already been through this topic in their school journey, and perhaps you can refer to their work, or you can just save your questions and put it in the chat when we go live, if that helps. Um, Also, how to appear confident is to take care of yourself. Take deep breaths. Try and relax when you can, because you need to start from a good place. Um, Embrace power poses. So, according to posture as well, how to appear confident is try not to make yourself look smaller. Try not to make yourself look small. Don't feel like you want to take up as little space as possible. One moment, guys. So my partner, he's really good at maths. So when he comes back in, I'll ask him some tips to give you. Also, as well, your posture. Try not to make yourself look small. So if you walk into a room, one moment, guys. So try not to act like you don't want to take up much space. So some people, when they sit down, they try and make themselves look small. They're very closed, or if they walk in a room, you know, just just try and be comfortable in using the space around you. If you sit in a chair, sit fully in the chair. Sit back in the chair. if you've got armrests, put your arms on the armrest, and just make yourself comfortable, and just try and use your body language to be to look as if you are confident. Um, One of the things that I do is that if I am feeling quite nervous and I don't feel confident at all, 1 minute, guys. Yeah, so what I was saying is sometimes you can take an interest in the objects around you. And so if you have nervous energy, you can look out of the window, enjoy the scenery. If there's a painting, look at the painting. If there's a pet, you can, interact with the pet. If there's, just you can just try and take an interest in what's around you to try and just channel that negative energy. Also, as well, if you go into a space, you can lean against the wall, because some people when they're 1 minute, guys.
From the higher.
Okay, so guys, if you have any maths question, my partner,
Masber.
he's a maths genius, and so any maths questions, put it in the chat, and we'll put it to him now. Yeah, any maths questions at all, he's really good. Just let me know, and then just put it in the chat, and then he'll answer for you. So what I was saying is, if you do feel nervous somewhere, some so my partner is really good at maths. If you have any questions, any maths questions, he's trying to run away. Just put it in the chat and he'll answer it for you. My brother's really good at maths as well. My brother is a maths genius. He works as an actuarist, and he's just a maths whiz. Yeah. So instead of slouching, if you are in a space, you can lean on the wall, and that way, if you feel like your legs are shaking, or if you feel like, if you just feel, you know slightly disorientated through nerves, lean on the wall so you can rest on there. And also it just makes you look more confident by actually leaning on something. Be careful that you're leaning on something that's stable, because I remember once I was at work, and I leaned on something, and it was like a canvas thing, and I just fell over. So if you're going to lean on something, make sure it's stable and you don't fall over the way I did. Yeah, so another tip is that when you are talking, try and pause, just to give yourself some space to see how people are engaging with what you're saying, and also just to maybe give yourself some space just to slow things down and to feel more relaxed. So you can pause when you're speaking. Also, as well, that can be a place of interaction, making eye contact with people, reading the room, seeing if people are engaging with you, if people are interested in what you're saying, or if people are keeping up to pace with you. Um, so when you pause, it's a good time to maybe get some feedback on how your engagement's going. Also, you can smile to appear confident, and also to appear approachable, but not too much. You can laugh, but then it's a fine line, because you don't want to be laughing or giggling all the time, because then people just might think, if you're laughing and giggling all the time, you know, it's like there's a tipping point. So, you know, easy with that. Um, Believe in yourself and your choices. And that probably goes back to what Kush was saying, which is a good point about not wanting to ask a question that will get laughed at. Um, yeah, it is difficult. It is difficult. I mean, sometimes, mm, I think you probably have to weigh it up, yeah? You probably have to weigh up being laughed at in class for asking a question people don't appreciate, and you probably need to weigh that up with being in the exam room and not having a Scooby Doo about what the answers are. Um, Scooby Doo is Cockney for clue, yeah? Not having a clue about what to do. Um, so you probably need to balance the lesser of those two evils. So would I rather get laughed at in class, or would I rather be in an exam hall and not have a Scooby Doo about what to do? So that's more, you know, a balancing act between which is the most excruciating, I would say. But you'd be surprised. Sometimes the questions that people laugh at is a question that everybody wanted to hear, or it may be a question that other people were embarrassed to ask. Um, or sometimes before you ask a question you may think is unnecessary, you can preempt it by saying, "Oh, sorry, I know this is a silly question, but yeah." So maybe you can preempt it by saying that. So you can start off the question by saying, "Oh, I'm really sorry, I know this is a silly question. However, da 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 da." Yeah, but it's difficult. Also, another way to show confidence is to respect people around you. So, treating people with respect shows that you are a confident person. It shows that you're confident in your own skin. It shows that you're confident in your own beliefs. And it shows that you're confident in your own values. So, therefore, you don't need to project your any insecurities onto somebody else that is different from you. So another way to show confidence is, yeah, to respect people around you, um, especially people that are different to you, because the more comfortable you are in your beliefs and identity and opinions, the more likely you are to treat somebody with respect. So yeah, so that's another sign of confidence. You know, you don't need to, you just don't need to pick on people or to be rude to people or to go with the crowd, you know. Um, those are my tips on being confident. If anybody has any maths questions, you can put it in the chat because my partner's really good at maths and he'll be happy to answer any questions. Also, my brother's really good at maths. He's an actuarist. So I'm surrounded by people that are great at maths. And I'm more, I like writing poems, writing stories, um, you know, writing scripts, you know, doing arts and crafts, like making stuff, you know, giving ideas, you know. I'm more that type of person, not really good at maths. But as Kush said earlier, you can practice problem solving rather than just memorizing by using formulas. So if you try and actually understand the topic you're studying, it can give you a breakthrough, and then that would give you confidence in what to do. Um, yeah. So also as well, if you do have a teacher and the teacher able to isn't showing you the support that you feel you need, you can either go and speak to your favourite teacher and communicate that with them, or you can try and be a bit more louder in class, or maybe you can ask your loud friend to ask on your behalf, or maybe make a list of questions. I don't know if it'll be allowed for you to just submit a list of questions, or if you have an older sibling, um, you can go through their previous work in regards to the topic that you're struggling with. Perhaps the older sibling has that information in their archive somewhere. But in regards to tests, I personally feel like being nervous can also motivate us to do well. Obviously, not be nervous to the point of feeling like a total wreck, but I do feel like being nervous can it just creates a tension that you know that can do great things. I think sometimes by saying, "Oh my gosh, I feel so nervous," or "Oh my gosh, my mind's gone blank," or I think sometimes by saying those things can help you just by voicing it and not having to act as if you're not confident. I think maybe having a little ritual. So just making up a little ritual. Like with me, after an exam, I didn't like it when people start going through the answers from memory. So after an exam, people would be like, "Oh, what did you put for question 4? I put this, this, and that. What did you put? Oh my gosh, I got it wrong. What did you put down for question 3? Oh my gosh, I got it wrong." Or they'll be like, "Oh yeah, what did you put for question 6? Yeah, I think I got it right." And then people start counting up their marks, like all that stuff. I could not do. Once I finish an exam or a test, I'm done with it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not gonna now try and figure out what my grade's gonna be. And just before a test, I'm not somebody that would like be trying to do last minute revision in the hall, So I think having a ritual, like know what works for you, or some people would like to go through it at the last minute, and afterwards some people do like to go through what they wrote and what they think they got right or wrong, but just know what makes you feel comfortable, and just 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 go with what works for you. But I personally, if I'm nervous, if I'm scared, if I'm worried, different things, I will just say it. I'll just be like, "Oh my gosh, I feel so scared. There's a big dog with no lead and no owner walking down the road towards me. I'm really scared." So I think sometimes it's good to just voice what your emotions are. I hope that's helpful. I do apologise for being all over the place. I hope there were some parts that people have been able to find useful. And just as a quick summary, I would say and remember, if you've got any maths questions, you can put them in the chat. My partner's very good at maths. Um, how to appear confident, your posture, so your shoulders back, your head up, and eye contact. So your posture, your body language is a good way to portray confidence. Eye contact, in some cultures, not having eye contact is seen as a good thing. In the Western society, eye contact is a sign of being trustworthy. So eye contact is recommended. Smiling, a genuine smile, can make you feel approachable and confident. Calm movements, in, avoid fidgeting where possible, such as biting your nails, tapping your leg. But obviously, if it makes you feel better to fidget, you can just go ahead and do that. Your voice, try and speak slowly. Um, use a steady tone, and this conveys confidence and control. Also, you can pause while speaking just to reflect, slow things down, and to interact with the people that are listening to you. You can read the room. So, speak slowly in a steady tone, pause, and also, yeah, just speak clearly. And that can help with your confidence. Be comfortable. So be comfortable in your clothes, that they're not, that they're not too tight, or they don't smell, or they're not too big. So what you're wearing can also add to how comfortable you feel. So make sure you're comfortable in your clothes. And also as well, don't be afraid to make mistakes. I mean, everybody says that, but honestly, don't. I mean, some things that I was afraid of, when I actually tried to do it, looking back on it, I'm like, that's no big deal. Why was I so scared? So sometimes the idea of something, um, sometimes we make the idea of something so much bigger in our minds. So honestly, some things aren't as bad as what we feel. So I would say don't be afraid to make mistakes within reason. But sometimes that's the quickest way to learn. Once you throw yourself into something, as long as it's safe, you should be able to learn how to do it in no time. Um, Try and be prepared for any situations or conversations that boost your confidence. Ask questions if you're unsure. Sometimes there's words that I don't actually know the meaning for, and I might even be using it. Or sometimes somebody might say something, and I will just ask them like, "So what does that mean?" So don't be nervous to ask questions, because you only need to. You may only need to ask the question once, and then you will know. Then you will have the information. So you can just ask once, and then now you have that information. So ask questions, practice, as Kush was saying earlier. Repetition and practice can help you feel more comfortable and confident in various situations. So where you can, practice and repetition is recommended. Self-care, take care of yourself um, and your well-being. In general, it's hard to be confident if you're hungry, or if you're tired, or if you're not in a good place. So self-care is very good. um, Try not to make yourself, some people don't want to take up much space. They try and make themselves look smaller, by hunching over, by just kind of like just being in the corner, and by sitting on their hands, and by just trying to take up as less space as possible. But no, take up the space you need. If you sit in a chair, sit back in a chair. If there's armrest, put your arm on the armrest. If you want to put your arm up like that, put your arm up. If you want to lean back, if you want to cross your legs, use up your space, okay? If you're, some people, when they don't feel confident, their legs might feel a bit shaky and stuff. Lean on the wall, yeah? Just lean on the wall, but make sure that it's stable before you lean on it, because once I went to lean on the wall and it was canvas and it fell and I fell. So make sure that it's stable, whatever you decide to lean on. Sometimes by leaning on a wall, you that can make you appear very confident. So also as well, try not to slouch. Pause when speaking. Also, you can laugh while you're speaking. Not too much, but just at times. Obviously, laughing a bit too much or giggling all the time can look off-putting. But being willing to laugh at yourself is always helpful. Yeah, so don't be adverse to that. Believe in yourself, believe in your choices. Stop saying sorry all the time. Some people always say sorry, 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 sorry. Try not to say sorry all the time, okay? Try and believe in yourself and your choices. Your choices might be wrong, okay? You know, you might be completely wrong, but just believe in your choices, and in yourself. Finally, in order to appear confident, show respect to others, whether you know them or you don't. People that are confident within themselves treat other people with respect. If you're comfortable in your own values, if you're comfortable in your own beliefs, if you're comfortable in your own opinions and who you are, you will treat others with respect. Okay? So that's all I have. I hope it's been helpful. Um, does anybody have any maths questions? My partner will be willing to answer any of them. He's really good at maths. You know, when I met him, I didn't even need to use a calculator anymore. Um, but yeah, so if there's nothing else, okay, so that's it. That's all I have. Thank you for joining the live. If there's no maths questions, then I'll be off. I have another live on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Um, they don't have any maths questions, so yeah. Do you have any tips about learning maths?
No,
But would you advise that they practice
hmm?
their? Would you advise they practice their maths work and like?
No, no, we didn't come on. We be sure, man.
Okay. So if you do need extra support with your maths, feel free to reach out to your teacher. If you're not able to speak to the teacher in the class, then reach out to your favourite teacher, or speak to one of your older siblings or younger siblings, if that helps, or any of your parents or guardians. Maths is like I see, I see maths as art. If I'm honest with you, I see maths as art. So if any of you want to enjoy your schoolwork or your studies, try and speak to somebody that can support you in your homework, in your math, and also extra tutoring. Or hello, Fardeen and Mari. Yeah, so try and find extra tutoring sessions. I think they also do. You can also have after school clubs, and yeah. Mm. And also as well, you can find things online that can help you with maths. I mean, if you speak to your parent or your guardian, they should they should be able to signpost you to resources that can support you in your maths journey. Well, I'll be off now. Thank you once again for joining the live. Please like the live, and if nobody has any maths questions, then I'll be off. But if in the future you like to join the live and you have questions in regards to maths and stuff like that, I'll be more than happy to help you. My partner's really good at maths. My brother's a genius in maths. He works as an actorist. But thank you once again for all those that joined the live today. You're all appreciated, and I'll be on live again on Wednesday at 8 o'clock, or you can come back again on Sunday at 2 o'clock. Thank you. Take care. Bye. Mariel. Obe mama bye bye. Ude kaban keke.
Hello, bye bye.
Bye.
Hello to you.
Bye, thank you.